shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp.
Welcome, everyone, to the Shrimply Good podcast, the podcast for all things Pistol Shrimp Baseball. I'm Lucas Burris, your voice of Pistol Shrimp Baseball. And joining me today is not Jace Eustace, it's Dom Liacone, our third man in the booth. I think it's your best description at this point, our resident utility man for Pistol Shrimp Baseball. But welcome to the Shrimply Good podcast, Dom.
Thanks for having me, Lucas. I'm excited to be here, just talking all things shrimp. Let's do it.
Yeah, if you're wondering where Jace is on vacation, don't worry. Jace will be back soon. But Dom does a great job filling in. He took the broadcast with me on Sunday, did a great job there as well. So we're just going to do a podcast together this time and give you everything that's usually on the Shrimply Good podcast. We'll release it for you every Monday like we do. But let's start by saying that this is episode 5 of the Shrimply Good podcast, and it's sponsored by State Farm Insurance agents Jessica Stroke and Lori Janko Wilkie. So there is that for you. They're sponsoring this podcast. If you look on the video version, if Dom, you just want to look up, that's where they are. They're right above Dom. So you can get their information right there. On the audio version, head on over to the video to get that stuff, or just head on over to our website. There's a clickable link under our sponsors for those State Farm Insurance agents. They're from separate agencies, so make sure you choose one or the other, but it gives you everything you want there. But like we said, Lucas Burris, Dom Liacone, taking you along the Shrimply Good podcast, episode 5. This week, we'll start, as we always do, with some game recaps of everything that's going on this week, or this past week, I should say, for Pistol Shrimp Baseball. They started the week on Tuesday, as they always do, with a loss to the Quincy Gems at home, 6-3 in front of the home crowd on First Responder Appreciation Night. And it was a good game throughout. The Shrimp kept it close, but they just couldn't keep up with the Quincy Bats in the 6-3 loss.
No, they couldn't. Manikowski took the loss. Just 1 earned run, 1 hit given up, 3 walks. He struck out 4. But the notable thing that I saw here was all the Shrimp runs that they got, the 3 runs that they did get in the loss, all came from homers. Ogans had 2 homers with 2 RBIs, and then Maynard also went deep as well. So the long ball was definitely working. We know the ball flies out at Veterans Memorial. Towers got the win for Quincy, and then O'Donnell came in and got the save. Quincy had 2 guys to go deep as well. So 5 total home runs in the game in the 6-3 final. Evan Clark did get the loss for the Shrimp. He went 5 innings with 4 hits, 5 earned runs, and 6 strikeouts. So from what I saw, I personally wasn't at the game, but from what it looks like, Manikowski came in and just unfortunately took the loss after Clark's run scored there.
Yeah, it was Manikowski, or not. It was Clark who took the loss on the mound. Manikowski came in relief, did a great job. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, only 1 run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts in relief. Kept the Shrimp in this game at the end of it. It was a great job by Ryan Manikowski on the mound. And it was a good start by Evan Clark as well. It was towards the end of that start with the runs that came in that, ended up being the end of this thing. But it was the solo home run ball for the Shrimp. That's all the runs they could get. Keyshawn Ogans hit 2 himself in this game. Both of them leadoff shots, 1 to lead off the ball game for the Shrimp, but it was a 2-run shot and a solo shot by Quincy that was the same value as those 3 home runs for the Shrimp. Just didn't collect the hits together. They had 7 hits total in the game, did the Shrimp, and only 5 of Quincy, but Quincy took the 6-3 victory, and they moved up in what was the game 1 of a 4-game series. So we're going to talk about Quincy a lot, but it was a game at home, and the Shrimp like to win at home, so it was a tough loss to start the week. But Ryan Eierman came on the mound on Tuesday and said, "We need a victory. Allow me to give you a victory." And Tuesday's win was a heck of a win for sure, as it was a 2-0 win for the Shrimp in 9 innings. And Eierman absolutely tossed on the mound.
Well, Eierman is dominant as usual. I think the Shrimp can officially crown him the ace of the staff, and he's very experienced as well. This is I think it's the second year that he's on this squad. With the Shrimp, he went 7 2/3 innings. He struck out 12 of the 25 batters he faced. He only gave up 2 hits and one walk. So that's only 3 total base runners. And I know that you had mentioned that a lot during the broadcast and the 2-0 win. And now Eierman leads the league. He's got 43 Ks. I believe we thought it was 44 at first, but it is 43. And he's tied for second with wins and 4th in the league in ERA. So it was the Ryan Eierman show on Wednesday or Tuesday night, I should say.
Yeah, no, that was Wednesday. That was
The Wednesday, excuse me.
Wednesday night,
Excuse
yep.
me.
And it was the Ryan Ironman show. That's the best way to put it. He just went out there and dealt for this team. He does what an ace does for you. It says we need the victory. He would have completed that game. He would have gone all 9 if not for the Prospect League pitch count. I mean, Ryan Ironman was absolutely dealing. He was ahead, and he was stronger as the game got on. He ended up at one point striking out 6 straight batters before he ended up giving up a ground out to finish out what was the seventh inning. Came in for the 7th inning, struck out the first 2 batters he saw in that inning. And it was just a great outing for Ryan Ironman on the mound with 12 total. And the rest of the pitching staff did a great job. Justin Rios came in relief, finished off that 7th inning, got a ground out after giving up a double. He had a ground out to get out of the inning with the 2-0 lead. Then Damian White closed the door in the 9th, went an inning of work, struck out 1, and got the save. So just a great outing by the Pistol Shrimp pitching in general, shutting down what was very good and hot Quincy Bats, who just had scored 6 runs in the previous game and would go on to score more in the next 2 games of this series. But on the hitting sides of things, it was Nolan Clifford who had the best game for the Shrimp. He went 2 for 4 in that game, along with Andy Nelson, who went 2 for 3. RBIs courtesy of Worthington and Westenfeld in this one. Just a whole team effort from the Pistol Shrimp on their Wednesday night win, but the Ryan Ironman show. And we're going to get back to the Ryan Ironman show later in the pod. But starting off this week for the Shrimp, or last week, I should say, it was a 1-1 start. They had split the first home series against Quincy 1-1, but then we traveled on the road for the final 2 games of the season against Quincy at Quincy, and not what the Pistol Shrimp wanted. First time on Thursday night at this point, they fell to Quincy 7-6 in what was a very, very close game, but another close loss for this Pistol Shrimp team.
Yeah, I believe it was a walk-off win too for the Gems, and that always hurts. When you get walked off, especially when you had the momentum, and talking with the players and manager John Jackmick, it was a heartbreaker for them. And in this one, the Pistol Shrimp fell 7-6 to the Gems. The hits were up there. Both teams had double-digit hits. The Shrimp had 13, Quincy 14. And it was just a close back and forth battle all game long. And the Shrimp, just unfortunately fall, but it's baseball and it happens. And the walk-offs hurt. Yeah,
the Shrimp have been walked off 3 times in the past 2 weeks. One of many close games this team has had. They have had 2-run, 1-run losses in boatloads over the past 2 weeks, which is, I said it before and I'll say it again. You just flip a few of those, it's a completely different season. But this loss, the walk-off one of the Shrimp, did hurt a good amount, as they, felt like they were in this game for a lot of it. They led at one point. I mean, they were up. It was 4-4. Then they were up 5-4. Then they were up 6-4. Then gave up 2 runs in the 6th and the 7th to make the game 6-6. And then 1 run in the bottom of the 9th for Quincy was just the nail in the coffin for this Shrimp team, as they fell to lose, not be able to win, I should say, the series to Quincy. They went up 2-1 in the 4-game series. On the bump for the Shrimp in this one was Chandler Kerr. He went 3 and a third inning, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Ryan Surin, I should say, on the mound for the Shrimp went 3 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Mitch Benson in relief ended up getting the loss, but only went 1 1/3 inning pitched and only gave up 1 run, which is the walk-off in that bottom of the 9th. On the batting sides of things, Keyshawn Ogun stayed hot. He had a double in this game as well, but it was a 7-6 loss to the Quincy Gems in the 3rd game of the week for the Shrimp. And Quincy came out hot in game number 4 as the Shrimp fell to them 10-2 on Friday night.
Yeah, 10-2 final. Like you said, the Gems exploded for 8 runs in the 6th. And that's the avoid the ambush that you want to. That's one of the key things that you need to do in baseball is avoid those huge innings. And the 8-run inning surely doesn't help, especially the Shrimp scattered their runs out again, just 2, but 1 in the 4th and 1 in the 9th. But it all really didn't matter when a team gets you for 8 runs in 1 inning. That's really going to hurt. Batting wise in this game, Andy Nelson with a double, as well as Blake Adkins. Clifford homers, and he also gets an RBI, and Atkins gets an RBI as well. So even though the Shrimp get their runs from a long ball and maybe another deep ball in the gap or down the line, it didn't work out, and those 8 runs really Quincy just exploded.
Yeah, Drake Fry started this game for the Shrimp. He only gave up 1 run through 4 innings of work, got into that fifth, gave up a little bit of action in the top, and then got pulled. And then the wheels kind of fell off, ended up giving up 4 runs in that inning. Once he got pulled, Damian White came in relief, gave up 4 runs in relief, never recorded an out. But Justin Rios, great job in relief for him, finishing off that game. He went 3 innings, 2 hits, only 1 run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. So Shrimp, once that sixth inning of 8 runs was over, they did a great job, but it's very difficult to come back from that. And it's just an explosive inning from an offense of Quincy that was kind of budding as games went on this week. And it finally ran into the Pistol Shrimp pitching, finally ran into an inning buzzsaw from Quincy. But like you said, some good outputs from some other players in this game as well. But the Shrimp ended up losing the 4-game season series, which was 4 straight games this week, to Quincy, 3-1, and that one win, the Ryan Ironman specialty. But we had 2 more games to play this week as well after the 4-game Quincy series. We then traveled to Rex Baseball in Wabash Valley, and Rex just squeaked out a victory over the Shrimp on Saturday night, 4-3.
Yeah, that 4-3 final, 4-3 final. 7 hits for the Shrimp, 8 for Rex. So again, the Shrimp are hitting the ball, and John Jackmick was saying, and we were talking in the press box a little bit, that there's been a lot of lineouts and a lot of balls that he said it sounds cliche and cheesy, but those hits are going to start falling. And they've been hitting the ball all over the place. I believe in the game we'll get to, yesterday's game against the Corn Belters, they out-hit the Corn Belters as well. So the Shrimp have been hitting great, but this one, they just fall to Rex again. Another squeaker, another heartbreaker. They do get 2 in the 9th, so they almost got that comeback. But again, just not the output the output that the Shrimp wanted. Ogans hits a double, his second of the year. Clifford and Coca both get hit by pitches. Clifford has an RBI, and so does Sam Link. And then Coca steals a base as well. So just another one that the Shrimp just can't pull off. And the late inning heroics just didn't work out the way they wanted it to, but it's still a tough loss.
Yeah, heading into the 9th, the Shrimp were trailing 4-1 in this game. They ended up putting up 2 runs in that 9th inning to make it close. Intently watching at home on Prospect League TV, I was like, we're gonna do it. Like we're so close, and it was just fell short of that comeback. But this is what that team. There's so much fight in this Pistol Shrimp team, and they just keep on fighting every time round. And another close loss, a 1-run loss, this time not a walk-off, but, kind of feels like that as well, too. You didn't have the lead, but you were so close to tying this ball game up, and just a tough loss as well. On the mound for the Shrimp in this one, Connor Sullivan, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He is doing very well this season so far for the Shrimp. He's done a great job. Mitch Benson, again in relief, 2 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, no strikeouts, no walks, but 2 pretty much clean innings there from Benson is a really good story from him, figuring out this relief pitching, figuring out the starting pitching for the Shrimp. That's what's been kind of the story in the recent weeks. At the start of the season, Shrimp were having struggles with both pitching and hitting, but in recent weeks, the pitching has been just absolutely great for this team and doing much better than it was. They've dropped their season ERA much lower. It's the hitting that still has to click. And there's a long season left, and we'll talk about in just a little bit how easy it's going to be for the Shrimp once we pass that 30-game mark. But let's finish this week's recap with the Sunday game as the Corn Belters came to town for Salute to the Military presented by James Hardy on Sunday afternoon. And it was another tough loss for this Pistol Shrimp team as they fell to the normal Corn Belters 5-1.
Well, the Pistol Shrimp were able to strike first in this game. That's one thing that, I think is huge, is scoring first and getting that momentum right on your side. But Normal responded right away. They played some small ball. I think both teams played some really good small ball throughout this game, laying down bunts, stealing bases. But Normal came right back, and there was actually an at-bat from the 9-hole hitter that he was trying to lay down 2 bunts, couldn't get it down, and then gets a base hit anyways and gets an RBI. So, things just didn't fall the Pistol Shrimp's way, and the only run that they did get was in the first inning from Coca. So, Castillo doubles in this one, Atkins doubles, and then stolen bases from Atkins and Andy Nelson. Shanner got the loss in this one. He went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits and 5 earned runs, walked 4 and struck out 6. Nick Laxner came in, number 40. for the Shrimp. He did a great job in 3 innings, just gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. And he did a phenomenal job in relief. And then Palmblad came in for 2 and he struck out 6. So only giving up a walk. So again, like you were talking about with the relief pitching, it looked really solid in this one, but just the offense wasn't there. And those hits weren't falling, or those hits weren't as timely, even though the Shrimp out hit the Corn Belters in this one 7-6.
Yeah, there's only 2 total extra base hits in this entire game between the two teams, which is not something we see very often at Veterans Park. So that was kind of an interesting tidbit as well. But like I said, and I was going to mention, just say that this relief pitching so good. Laxer and Palmblad combined for 5 completely clean innings, 7 strikeouts. Palmblad struck out the side in both his innings of work, only giving up 1 base runner between the two, or 2 base runners between the two in 5 innings of work. So just a great job by this bullpen. And Shanner looked really good on the mound too. Just not enough, real close, only 5 runs given up. But that was all the Corn Belters needed in the game, was 5 with the 5-1 loss. And on the hitting side of things, Keyshawn Ogans stayed hot as well. He had a hit in this game. And, that's the wrap of the week for the Shrimp. They only picked up 1 win, went 1-5 on the week, and that dropped their overall record to 6-17 on the season, and now 3-7 at home, 3-10 away. They sit in 4th place in the East Wabash River Division. They're 10 games back of first place Lafayette, and they have a 230 team batting average and a 6.55 team ERA heading into this next week of action. But what I want to talk about is, just for all those who don't understand exactly how the Prospect League is set up, it's good to remind you that it's a split season. So the Shrimp right now are 6-17. There's 7 games left in the first half of the season. Once the Shrimp complete this week with 1 game the following week, so that's the 7th game. So there's the first game of our Wednesday doubleheader against Rex 2 weeks from now. 1 week from Wednesday, because this coming week. That we're done. That's our 30 games. Our record resets. We go to 0-0 for the second half of the season. It's how the Prospect League is set up. So you can go 0-30 in the first game and then win your division in the second half. So I think that's really what this Pistol Shrimp team is looking at right now. Of, the first half, we're going to learn from it. It's over pretty much at this point. But we have a whole second half to do whatever we want. And I think that's really what this Pistol Shrimp team is excited for. You can finish in dead last in the entire league in the first half of the season and then go win the championship in the second half. That's the beauty of baseball and the beauty of the Prospect League. So the second game of the Rex doubleheader on Wednesday of next week will start the second half of this season, and it will be a fresh, clean reset for this Pistol Shrimp team. And I know a lot of players are excited for that one. I don't know if you've talked to anyone just generally about that as well, Dom.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've talked to John on the car ride back. I'm all the way up in Naperville, Illinois, so I get to stay down with the team sometimes when I don't really want to drive all the way back up for late night at around 11 o'clock. So I stay with the guys and John Jack, Mick and Villa, and we were driving home and he was just talking. Guys are super excited for the reset. There's one guy was saying, oh, well now, because they didn't know that the season technically reset after 30 games, that there was a second half. He goes, we're just playing now to have fun, just for our summer ball. And another guy goes, well, no, that's not really the case, because now we reset, we learn from what we've done, and we try and win the whole division and go into the playoffs hot. And I think that's huge. If you can, I personally see a second half division winner. If you go into the playoffs hot, that's what it's all about. It's all about getting the momentum and knowing exactly what you need to do and having all the pieces together and be clicking at the right times. And I think that that's going to be huge for this Pistol Shrimp team moving into the future. But I'm super excited to see what the second half holds. Now that the whole 32 guys here on this roster, you've got guys from all over, local, even guys out from California that John Jackamix picked up. It's going to be super exciting to see what this team can do. And the chemistry is really clicking in the dugout from what I've seen. I've talked to guys before games. They're excited. They're having fun. This is a great Shrimp squad, and they love playing for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big thing, is a lot of these players are just having so much fun here in the IV and here playing for this team. And I think that's just huge. Of people come to the ballpark and they see a win, and it's so like, that was such a great game. I'm so glad it came. I think you're going to get so much more of that in the second half. And it's a lot of, fans understanding, don't give up on this team, because guess what? They can finish wherever they want. And that second half is just getting it hot. And I agree with you, fully. The team that finishes hot in the second half is so much more prepared for the playoffs, So this team, that's exactly what the Shrimp team is looking for. And we're now 4 weeks into the season, and it's kind of a point where we just got the team together. We finally just played a whole week together. Like, of course, it's going to take some time, but fully set up with yourselves of the amount of talent and the amount of hard work on this Pistol Shrimp team. Now that they're playing with each other, it's just going to click. We know it's going to click. That's how baseball works. It's eventually going to click. The stuff, you don't do what you do. The hits fall eventually. The pitching works eventually. Like, it's just how it works, because the foundation is there, and that's what this Pistol Shrimp team is excited about. So let's look at who has had a good first half, though, and we know the man name, but I want to start with someone else on this team because I love this stat. Let's look at the Prospect League leaderboards and the Pistol Shrimp players who are on it. We'll start with Colton Coca, who is tied for 4th in the Prospect League in hit by pitches with 5, and that is a stat you cannot control, yet a stat I always want someone on my team in the top of the leaderboard category in.
Yeah, hit by pitches. So many people think that it's just an irrelevant stat. It's something that, it just happens. You really can't control how you get hit. I mean, there are certain times where players can kind of set themselves up for getting a certain pitch and possibly getting that inside fastball that maybe runs too much inside that 2-seam, or maybe there's that slider that you're trying to go front door with, and it just runs way too front door and it gets you. So Colton Coca's done a good job of that, and that's producing base runners for the Shrimp team. Like you said, tied 4th. He's got 5. So I'm going to be interested to see how many he finishes with this year. But that's a pretty exciting and unique stat. That's kind of like an Anthony Rizzo type stat that you see. And from what I've seen, does Coca like to crowd the plate a lot?
I think it's just that big frame of Coca that's kind of getting the hit by pitches. He's not that close to the box, but like I said, it's just a different dynamic of your team to have somebody who's going to lead. And he's limited time too. He's only been here a few weeks now, and he's already up there with 5. So I expect big things from Colton Coca in the hit by pitch category, Mark, on the Prospect League leaderboards. But let's now talk about the man himself in Ryan Eierman. Here is Ryan Eierman's current season stats, and then we'll tell you where he leads the league. 4 games, 3-0. 26 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs, 4 of them earned, 8 walks, only 4 extra base hits given up in 4 games total. He's got a 106 batting average against, a .65 whip, a 1.39 ERA, and a 14.8 K per 9 ratio. Ryan Eierman leads the league in too many categories.
You want to talk about video game stats, right? I mean, this is it. And Ryan Eierman, like I mentioned before, I think the Shrimp have found their ace in this guy. He's experienced. He's a lengthy lefty that does his job on the mound, but he's just got that personality and that fire, that passion under him. He has fun on the mound. You see him smiling. You see he's really into the game. That's what I love about Ryan Eierman. He's such an interesting case, but he's such a fun player to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. He is. I'm going to get to that in a second. I want him 4th in the league in ERA at 1.39, 2nd in the league in inning pitched at 26, 1st in strikeouts at 43, a whole 8 in front of the next closest, and 2nd in wins at 43. If you click on the stats where it says inning pitched and you go there, Ryan Eierman is head and shoulders above the rest of the league with anyone who's close to his number in innings pitched. He's just flat out ridiculous. And a .65 whip is just absurd for someone who has started 4 games and pitched 26 innings. So Ryan Eierman, way too good, and we're going to have to give him the accolades later in the podcast for sure. But getting to your point, he is so much fun on the mound, and he shows it. There's specific examples now. We had a beer batter of the game who he had struck out once already, and he decided on the mound, it was a little pop-up to Colton Coca at 3rd, and Colton Coca is like not sure if he should catch it at 3rd because it's the beer batter and it's an 0-2 count. He like catches it at his knee, and Ryan Eierman is yelling at him the whole time not to catch the ball because he's like, I'm gonna strike out this kid. Don't catch the ball. Coca ended up catching it, but like that's just the fun of what Ryan Eierman is. He's not cocky confident either.
Exactly.
He's having a good time, and he's so good. He has one of the nastiest two-seamers from the left side I have ever seen in any professional capacity of baseball. So if you don't know about Ryan Ironman already, write his name down. He pitches about every Wednesday for the Shrimp, and I would come to the ball games.
Yeah, he's a guy that you definitely want to bring the kids to come and watch, because if there's someone to model your kid after, I mean, he's the guy. He has fun, he's energetic, and he's someone that you can look at and say, hey, he's good. He is good. And when I mean he's good. I'll say it again. He's good. So
Yeah.
he's fun to watch. The stats back it up. And like you were saying, that was just such a funny moment with the beer batter. And he kind of gave Colton Coca this look like, you really just caught that ball. I can strike out this kid. And he didn't even care that there was the 95, pitch limit, and not at all. And we were talking before the podcast. You think he could have gone over? He could have easily completed that game.
He would have easily completed that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thought. He was getting stronger as the game went on. And I think the best thing to finish the Ryan Ironman conversation is if you're looking for autographs of these players, if you don't have the Ryan Ironman signature, I would get it, because that man might be going places, if you know what I mean. I don't like to say anything, but Ryan Ironman, get that autograph. I'm gonna have to get that autograph myself, I think. I know Dom's gonna pull a video off our post game. He's gonna be like, God, this is my highlight of my career. It's interviewing Ryan Ironman.
Oh yeah.
Big things.
I already have that whole interview clipped, man. I have it ready. You know what? I might get a prospect league ball ready for him to sign, because that's just how good he is. And he's such a great guy too. He's so easy to talk to. So that's the kind of guy you like to see playing for the Shrimp.
Yeah, we'll save a little more love for him later in the pod. Let's get to a preview of this coming week for the Pistol Shrimp, their Tuesday through Sunday contests of this week in Pistol Shrimp baseball action. We'll start on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a 2-game series against the Clinton Lumber Kings as the Shrimp travel for the first 3 games of this week. They start at Clinton Tuesday, June 22nd. They're at the Clinton Lumber Kings, who are currently 8-14 on the season. It's a 6:30 start, and it's the same thing on Wednesday, June 23rd. They're at the Clinton Lumber Kings for a 6:30 p.m. start.
Yeah, that should be an exciting one. 2 teams that have decently similar records. The Lumber Kings just having a few more than the Shrimp, but that should be a fun one to watch. And especially throughout this whole week, let's see how the Shrimp can end the first half and see if they can go into it hot going into the second.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we pick it back up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's a 3-game series against Danville. 2 of them away, 1 of them at home. On Thursday, June 24th, they're at the Danville Dans, who are 13-8 on the season, for a 6:30 p.m. start on Thursday. Friday, we come home for WAJK and WLPO's 80s Big Hair Night at the ballpark. That's Friday, June 25th versus the Danville Dance, a 7:05 p.m. start time for that one. We'll give you a little more information on that theme night in just a little bit, but they complete the series with Danville on Saturday, June 26th at Danville for a 6:30 p.m. start time. So 2-game series against the Clinton Lumber Kings, then a 3-game series against the Danville Dance.
Yeah, that should be exciting too. The Dans 13-8 right now. I don't know if you had mentioned that, but they're a winning team right now. I believe, yeah, they are in the same division as the Shrimp. So we'll see how both teams kind of finish within the division. And it's going to be away, home, away. So the Shrimp are going to play 2 in Danville, then make the trip back out here, and then go right back out to Danville again. So we'll see how the traveling kind of affects it. I don't think it should affect too much of the gameplay, but nevertheless, 2 teams that are rivals in their division, and it should be a good series to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Shrimp will complete their week on Sunday, June 27th versus the Springfield Sliders, who are 14-8 on the season, for a 1:05 p.m. start time on Saturday at home. And that's Martin Equipment Day. Martin Equipment will be out there sponsoring that night, and you can get a lot of stuff from them. We'll specifically tell you what they'll have going on in just a little bit here as we'll get into the Pistol Shrimp events this week. But recapping what's coming up, it's Tuesday through Sunday, 6:30 p.m. away games versus Clinton on Tuesday and Wednesday, 6:30 away versus Danville on Thursday and Saturday. The 2 home games this week that you got to mark down on your calendars: Friday versus the Danville Dans, 7:05 p.m. and Sunday versus the Springfield Sliders at 1:05 p.m. But let's tell you what's happening outside of the baseball action at those two games, the Pistol Shrimp events this week, both theme nights, the Friday and Sunday game. Friday night, WAJK and WLPO, big 80s, 80s big hair night, not big 80s hair night. 80s big hair night. Brad and Abby will be live broadcasting from Veterans Park starting at 5:30. At 6 p.m., Matt and Kate will play live with a mini concert that you can enjoy 80s music, and you'll have food from Tony's Butt Shack and the Doghouse in LaSalle. So another good night. If you enjoyed 96.5 The Wolf's Country Night, it's the same people, Starve Rock Media, doing this 80s big hair night. They're very excited. There's going to be a lot more in store. That's just, scratching the surface of what we know right now for Friday's event. And then on Sunday, Martin Equipment Day, the first 150 fans to stop by the Martin Equipment hospitality tent will receive a free John Deere hat. So make sure you get into that game on Sunday and enjoying some free stuff from Martin Equipment and just enjoying a good ball game. It's going to be a nice, relaxing time. I know a lot of people love those Sunday 105 start times as well. It's a good thing just to do on your Sunday. But that is the events in Pistol Shrimp Baseball. Let's get to the fun stuff of the Shrimply Good podcast. It's time for the Shrimply Good Players of the Week. Usually it's me and Jace who get to pick, but Jace isn't here. So Dom gets a pick this week, and let's see what you have in store for us, Dom. Who is your Shrimply Good Player of last week?
Well, my Shrimply Good player, I'm taking Keyshawn Ogans, the middle infielder here for the Shrimp. He went 8 for 22 in the 5 of 6 games that he played. That's good for a 364 batting average. He was on fire. 2 doubles, 2 homers, those 2 homers in the same game, by the way. 3 RBIs and 2 stolen bases. He has proven himself to be a great leadoff man for the Shrimp team. He takes quality at bats. He runs the opposing pitcher's pitch count up. He's fun to watch. So if you come out to the ballpark, you're getting a show from Keyshawn Ogans. And he showed up this week. And that 360 plus batting average, man, did he do his work for the Shrimp, getting on base.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just that leadoff man that the Shrimp need, that every team needs in that leadoff role. He does such a great job for this team as a spark plug at the top of the order. And he really spark plugged this offense a few times this week. Like we said, 2 leadoff home runs, 2 of them in the same game. That RBI category for him is never going to be too high as that leadoff man, but you love to see that average and OBP so high. You love to see him working long at bats. He looked 2 long at bats on Sunday. Just a great work from him in that leadoff spot and more than well deserving. But great defense from him as well. Just absolutely great defense. This Shrimp team is so good defensively, and he does that as well at shortstop, second. I think he has 1 game in center this season as well. So just great job defensively from Keyshawn Ogans this season. But I got to go with the man himself for my Shrimply Good Player of the Week. I can't hold back. He's our first 2-timer. He's just so good. And he said, hey, did you see my pitching performance week 1? Nah, I'll do you better this week. Ryan Ironman is my Shrimply Good Player of the Week, our first 2-time winner of a Shrimply Good Player of the Week. And I'll give you his stat line again on Tuesday. He got the win, 7 2/3 innings pitched, no runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts, only 3 base runners in almost 8 innings of work. I mean, Ryan Ironman, I didn't know if you could impress me more, and you said, I can do better.
Yeah, we gave him a lot of love earlier, a few minutes ago. We're going to give him more love right now because Ryan Ironman is the guy to watch for the Shrimp. He's their go-to guy. He's their ace. And what he did on Tuesday, like you said, he gave us one better than from the week that he did win Shrimply Good Player of the Week. So Ryan Ironman, an exciting lefty here for the Shrimp. I believe he stands at 6'3", so he's tall, he's lengthy, and he can do it all on the mound. He's got that nasty 2-seam and a nice off speed to go with it. And the stats showed striking out 12, and he leads the league right now, the prospect league, in strikeouts. And I think he'll keep racking those up as the season goes along.
Yeah, absolutely. He is our Shrimply Good Player of the Week, along with Keyshawn Ogans. And this one, we'll send out that on social media in the coming days. Make sure you're giving these players some love and giving them congratulations on all of their accolades, especially the Shrimply Good Player of the Week. You know, they enjoy everything that the fans can give them. And make sure you're giving us some love as well on social media, following our social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where you'll find this podcast and the rest of our podcast, wherever you find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're finding it. But for another edition of the Shrimply Good podcast, this was episode 5, sponsored by State Farm Insurance agents Jessica Strokic and Lori Janko Wilkie. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Shrimply Good podcast. We hope to see you at the ballpark next Friday and Sunday. Friday 7:05, Sunday 1:05 start time. And remember, if you can't make it to the game, the only way to watch Pistol Shrimp baseball outside of the ballpark is on Prospect League TV. Just go to prospectleague.tv to find it there. You can watch a single game for just a small price tag. You can subscribe for the whole season for the Shrimp, or you can watch the whole league for the most amount of money. It's really easy to do, and we have the most watched broadcast in the Prospect League right now. So if you're not making it to the game, make sure you're still keeping up with everything in Pistol Shrimp baseball. And thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Shrimply Good podcast. For Lucas Burris and Dom Liacone, thank you for joining us. Fear the Claw. We'll see you next time.
Do the pistol shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp.